Let's write a 10,000 word first class dissertation in just 3 weeks using AI tools. That is what I'm going to be going through in today's video. Dissertation deadlines are rapidly approaching us right now, and it's really important for us to use the tools that are available for us now in 2024 to be able to streamline the writing process, but also remembering to stay academically safe and to not plagiarize. In today's video, I'm going to be going through the 4 essential stages of writing a dissertation. The first being reading, the second being planning, the third writing, and the fourth editing. I'll also be providing you with a timeline and an actual example of me going through the stages from having nothing on paper, finding research papers, to using a text, editing it, refining it with AI, and having it ready for submission. So the first 2 stages are reading and planning. Now, these are really important stages because these set the foundation for your dissertation. If you haven't read enough, if you haven't gained enough background information, and you don't have the most powerful and the most effective sources, then you won't be able to write a first-class essay. So the first step is to really find relevant literature. And to do this, you can leverage AI tools that are able to sift through the hundreds and thousands and millions of research papers to identify the most relevant papers to you and the most recently published. An example of this is Our Discovery. So Our Discovery is a free AI-powered app that promotes human-generated organized reading lists. So what it does is it creates a tailored reading feed, and it adjusts your research interest by selecting topics that you could follow, and then it builds recommendations and sends new papers to you regularly. So what it does is it presents research papers that are really relevant to your particular topic, and that just saves you hours and hours on doing manual searches on databases like PubMed or Google Scholar. And I've truly found that when I've searched on Our Discovery and I've looked for papers, I find the most recently published papers that I haven't necessarily found on other databases that I have used traditionally. And whilst you read, you're able to sync your research library to a referencing tool that you use. So you're reading, you're finding these research papers, you're wanting to bookmark them, and this will save so much time later because you can just save your references as you go, and you're automating your citations using this tool. Remember that you want to think ahead a little bit. If you're reading all these research papers and you're not bookmarking them somewhere, you're not adding them to your personal kind of database of citations, then in the future, when you come to write and you come to add your references, you're going to have to go backwards a little bit to go and find those papers again. So think one step ahead if you want to write a little bit quicker. You can integrate Zotero or Mendeley onto your account on Our Discovery, and then you can very easily export your reading list and sync them across the platforms. Now, this is something that, like I said, you really want to think about whilst you're in this step. So step 1 and 2 of the whole dissertation process, you want to think about what you're going to be doing when it comes to citations later, and Our Discovery is amazing for this. And once you've familiarized yourself with the literature, it's time to start planning. So what you want to do is build a bit of an outline. So you want to start to build a bit of a paragraph outline or a different chapter outline. If you have 10,000 words, most likely you'll have a really good breakdown of sort of, you've got the abstract, the introduction, you've got the methods, you've got your results, depending on kind of what your format is. You want to have a breakdown for each of those chapters and try to include some information that you are going to be writing within it, so when you come to write, you've done that thinking beforehand. And for this, I would allocate a week. Now remember, we're working on a tight deadline. We're working on a 3-week deadline. So we're just going to allocate a week for reading and building the outline, which I think is more than enough time if you're spending a number of hours every single day working on it. And then we're going to leave another 2 weeks for the writing and editing stage, which is my favorite. So let's move on to stage 3 and 4. So this is the most time consuming, but we're going to try to do this in 2 weeks, and I know we can. So here is the stage where you begin to write based off of your plan and based off of what you've read previously. My biggest hack when it comes to writing is using a tool that can help me improve my language and kind of help me with some aspects of writing as I write. You want to find a tool that can give you instant writing suggestions that allow you to sort of edit without thinking about it too much as you write. And to be able to do this, I'm going to suggest an AI tool called PaperPal, which again I have recommended on this channel several times because I truly think it is one of the best tools out there for students and academics when it comes to anything academic writing. So PaperPal is an AI-powered app that helps with grammar, punctuation, spelling, style, tone, and even technical checks and topic-based suggestions to help improve your chances of getting published or getting that first class degree. Now remember that PaperPal is actually a platform that is for researchers, it's for academics, and the suggestions that it gives you are those that are best for someone that is writing an academic text. So we've got this outline that I showed you earlier, and now we want to begin to write and edit. Okay, so typically you would have written a little bit too much, so I always overwrite and I have to kind of cut down and trim my text and paraphrase and just make things a little bit more concise. So what I have now is an essay that's slightly too long and not very well refined. I'm going to be showing you 6 of my favorite features that PaperPal has that you can use in order to enhance a semi-written piece of text to take it from being okay to being absolutely excellent and ready for publishing or ready for submission. Okay, so let's go through going from a very rough first draft to a perfected final product. So this is what I've written so far. It is 2,173 words, and I'm going to start off by using the trim setting. So this is a trim feature which actually cuts out words for you. And as you can see, I've got over 2,000 words, and I want to kind of reduce it as much as I can because this is just the introduction. So I have used the trim feature and it has trimmed it down by 45 words, which is amazing because I was really struggling to get this down into a more concise paragraph. And I can say, right, let's go and replace that. And that has already cut down my words quite a bit in just this paragraph. And again, you know, you want to combine sort of just reading and saying, right, actually, this paragraph, I don't really need it at all. So let me get rid of it, with using the trim feature that PaperPal offers that can help you with reducing parts where you might not already know how to do this. The second feature is make academic. So when you're writing, you're probably not necessarily thinking too much about how it sounds, rather you're just writing information. So using the tool make academic, what you're able to do is make certain sentences sound more viable and sound a bit more mature academically. So for example, this first sentence, I'm not sure if I like it very much. I don't think it sounds as sort of academic and as effective as I think it could be. So I have used this tool and it has actually changed it quite nicely. It has not cut down the words because that's not what I'm after, but instead it has sort of cleaned it up and made it sound a lot nicer for me. So there you go. That's the second tool. The third tool that I'm going to show you is how to paraphrase. Now, as you're editing, you might find that actually there are certain sentences that need to be written again, or certain sentences where you haven't necessarily completely written it in your own words from the research papers, and you might just want to write it out again. So you can just highlight the sentence or the section that you want to paraphrase and then use this tool, as you can see. And what it does is it maintains the meaning of your text, but it changes it up to write it in a slightly different way. And you can see that the sentence itself means the same thing, but it has just been written in a slightly different way, which is fantastic. The fourth way that we are going to be editing is by thinking about our title and our abstract. So once you go through all of this and you've kind of paraphrased and you've cut down the words and you've cleaned it up, you want to now write a very good title. I had one here as a suggestion, but I'm not sure I like it very much. So what I'm going to do here is go to generate, and I'm going to go to generate title, and then I can say generate, and what it does is it bases the title off of what is already written in the text. Okay, so it has given me this title, which I think sounds pretty good, but I could ask it actually to regenerate if I don't necessarily love the title, but I think I'm okay with that. So I'm going to put that up there, which again gives me a really nice way to kind of give a heading to this section. And then the fifth tool that I wanted to show you that you can use is the PaperPal Ask. So again, if you go to the Copilot, you go to Ask, you can ask any question that can help to support you with your writing. So for example, you can say, what should I include in the conclusion?
And what this will give you are ways to write a strong conclusion. It doesn't write it for you, but it gives you support and gives you the academic kind of understanding of how to write the conclusion. So I really like this. I use this quite a bit. It tells you to reinstate the thesis statement, summarize the main points, provide a final thought, something engaging, and don't introduce new information. That is perfect. That's exactly what you want. Then the last thing that you want to do after you've done all of that, you've cleaned it up, you've trimmed it, you've made it sound more academic, is you want to actually ensure that all of your spelling and language suggestions have been checked. So there are actually 85 sentences that need to be reviewed. There's a lot that's incorrect here. There's lots of spelling, word choice, verb forms, a lot of issues in this text that I definitely have to go through and correct. And it really is based off of the academic language. So you'll find that the suggestions that PaperPal give you are suggestions that are based off of what you'd see in a research paper or an academic thesis. So yeah, these are 5 ways that you can help yourself to take your text from just a first draft to a final submission ready piece of text.
PaperPal Prime starts from $19 a month, and they also have a quarterly pack now as well. So use my code AYPRIME30 to get 30% off of PaperPal Prime. And like I've shown you, I truly think that you get so many different really cool features that allow you to supercharge your writing and take you from having a dissertation that you might not be so proud of to one that you have refined and have made sound absolutely excellent. So to conclude this video, it is possible to write 10,000 words in just 3 weeks, especially when you have the assistance of AI and I want to emphasize, the ethical assistance of AI. Remember that I always emphasize on this channel that we don't copy and paste, we don't ask AI tools to generate text for us. We are writing, we are reading, we are the ones that are doing the hard graft, and we're using AI tools to help to refine our text and leverage what we already have written to improve it and get it to its best possible potential. As I said earlier, check my link down below in the description to try PaperPal Prime out if you want to, and I'm sure you'll really enjoy it. And if you want to see more videos like this on my channel, then don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to leave me a comment and let me know if you're going to be trying PaperPal, and if you already have, which I'm sure lots of you have, how you find it already. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.